spirit. I love it. This is a regular meeting of the Cameron County Commissioners Court, September 4th, 2007. It is now 5:30 p.m. As we do all meetings, we start with invocation by... Where's your circle? All right. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll pick somebody from the audience a little bit.
Let's pray. Lord God, your scripture says that there's a time for everything, a time for living, a time for dying, a time for resting, a time for working. And we realize and acknowledge that this is a time for working. So I pray that all present in this meeting would work together for the benefit of this county, and that you would be glorified in all that is said and done in this meeting. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. If we could just remain standing for a moment of silence for Commissioner Cortinas that passed away. Yesterday he served Cameron County as a commissioner for 16 years, representing Precinct 2. And then prior to that as a city commissioner as well. So we could stand for a moment of silence in his death. Thank you. Let me ask Sonia Keeble to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then to the Texas flag. All right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Nobody signed up. Thank you, Greg. Nobody signed up for public comments. Anybody who wants to speak, please come forward. Introduce yourselves to the audience and be nice, Francisco.
Good afternoon, County Judge, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Cifuentes. I'm a resident of Cameron County and a taxpayer. And now, with the Pledge of Allegiance, we know that Mr. Barrera was not here. It didn't sound the same. I want to congratulate everyone in the county that was involved in moving around during these past few days when we were going to have that storm that, thank God, did not come this our way. But it did show a lot from the county. It did show that we're going to work together from now on and that we're going to move around. And I came before you a couple of months ago and I said, let's go back to basics to protect and to serve. And I think you are doing that. Some of the head departments are doing that. They're learning that they're now going to have to protect and to serve the citizens of Cameron County. I talked today to the city administrator, to Mr. Kevler, and I did point out that we need to do the same with the city. We have so many employees, so many different departments, but unluckily they don't do windows anymore. They cannot fill the bags that people need, and they cannot place enough emphasis on protecting the citizens of Bronzeville. And I want to urge County Commissioners Court and the city and the port and every taxing entity to work together and trying to facing this problem per se, because we cannot have elderly people going and filling up those bags. So I want to thank you for all that I saw these past few weeks, and let's continue the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Item 2, presentation and/or resolution items. Presentation by Sonia Keeble regarding South Texas Healthcare System Services.
Judge, Commissioners, good evening. Based on my last presentation, there was some discussion on some of the services offered by South Texas Healthcare System, and Judge Coscos asked me to get together with Sonia Keeble and make her available to the court so that she can provide some additional information on some of the programs that they offer and some of the services. So I'll introduce Sonia Hernandez Keeble. She's a superintendent of the Rio Grande State Center, South Texas Healthcare System.
Thank you for the privilege of being here this evening, Judge, Commissioners. We're very pleased that we have the opportunity to present or give you an overview of our services. At this time, I'd like to introduce some of our key staff that are here. Blas Ortiz, who's walking right behind me, he's our Assistant Superintendent. Leanne Fitzpatrick is the Outpatient Clinic Director. Jaime Flores is the Mental Health Services Director, and Berta Lopez is the MR Unit Service Director, and then we've got Dr. Dill, who's our Medical Director. Okay, all right. Teaching me how to work this. Okay, just briefly, I'd like to just share with the group what our mission is, and we are hoping that, of course, every individual that comes through our doors will receive quality care every time. As far as the history and why we have such a long, lengthy name, Rio Grande State Center, South Texas Healthcare System. In 2004, there was a merger that resulted because of House Bill 2292, and at that point, both facilities were merged, and that's why we have a lengthy name. As you can see, Texas Department of Health started operation in 1903, and it used to be known as the Harlingen Tuberculosis Hospital, and Rio Grande State Center started operation in 1962. These are our legislated service areas, and they're different counties that we serve for the different services. For mental retardation, we have all 12 counties that can refer to us for long-term residential care. For mental health, we have 8 counties, and it's Cameron, Willacy, Hidalgo, Kennedy, Brooks, Clayburgh, Jim Wells, and Duval. And then for our outpatient clinic, we have 4 counties, Cameron, Willacy, Hidalgo, and Starr. Okay, these are as far as the services that we provide, we're the only facility that's part of the Department of State Health Services that provides inpatient mental health, residential mental retardation care, and outpatient primary care. We are accredited by the Joint Commission as any other private facility, and some of our other certifications include Medicare, ICFMR, and FDA. Okay, our mental health services, we have 55 acute care beds. One of our units is Medicare certified. We have about 100 admissions per month, and the average length of stay is about 14 days. Okay, for our mental retardation services, we have 110 beds that we are certified for. We're budgeted for 77. Our average daily census is 77, and our average length of stay there is 17 years. So for most of the individuals, this is their home. Okay, our outpatient services. As I mentioned, we are in an outpatient clinic, and we have primary care, women's health, we have subspecialty consultations, ancillary services such as laboratory, radiology, social services, diabetic education, nutritional consultations and training, and we have full pharmacy. We also have an electronic medical record that interfaces with our lab. These are our annual statistics. We have about 60,000 patient contacts, and we average about 100 new patients per month. And let me ask, nothing else? Okay, our annual budget for our facility is $21.5 million. We have about 457 employees at this time, and we're the 7th largest employer in Harlingen. We do have educational affiliations with all the local universities and colleges for nursing, OT, social worker, psychology. We also are the training site for UT Health Science Center, and for the internal medicine residency, and Valley Baptist Family Practice. Okay, as far as our 2008 forecast, we have been funded for the next biennium. There are no plans to reduce any staff at all, no plans to reduce any of our services, and no plans for any funding reduction. So it's looking very well for the next biennium. We've not had a reduction in force probably for at least for Rio Grande State Center the last time has been, maybe 20 years ago. And as far as South Texas healthcare system, I know since we merged in 2004, we have not had any staff reduction. We were recently awarded $9.9 million as a result of House Bill 1, and we're currently working with some architects out of Austin and San Antonio, and we're either going to be renovating or constructing a new outpatient clinic, so that's good news for us. Any questions for any of us?
So the new monies coming in for construction or renovation are strictly for outpatient clinic,
Yes.
not for any of the other facilities?
No, it's strictly for the outpatient clinic.
I was going to ask on the outpatient services, where you have cancer service grant, does that mean that that's the only funding you get?
That is a separate grant for that specific service.
For what's your window of time with that?
We get funded annually.
Annually?
And we request the money annually. Where's Dr. Dill? I'd like Dr. Dill to say
Yes, I'd like to hear about that.
What we have is a breast and cervical cancer screening grant that the facility has had for many years. And so periodically we reapply.
Okay.
And so recently we reapplied and were awarded again $75,000. And it's for individuals who meet the qualifications for breast and cervical cancer screening. Our radiology has a mammography department, and we have a designated case manager who is an RN. Her and another RN have been trained, and so most of the patients go through her and have the case management and follow-up, so that if the patient gets diagnosed with cancer and they meet the qualifications, they automatically qualify for Medicaid for their treatment.
Okay. I was just wanting to see if it was pretty consistent or if it was unreliable, but it seems like you've had it for
It
years.
has been very consistent for us. Thank you.
Any further comments from you all?
No, that's...
No? Thank you very much. Any questions for Commissioner Ford?
I just kind of like to say that I have been to your campus, and I know basically it's pretty old facilities there, but y'all seem to certainly take care of them in a good manner, and obviously you have to do that in order to take care of the patient load that you see, and it's a big benefit to the entire county and to all the counties that are involved in it for the taking care of the indigent and the folks that you do take care of and the ones that qualify for the different programs. Appreciate all your work.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening.
I'd like to have one more question, please. You said you had 55 acute beds, right, in the
Yes.
facility? Did you give us a percent of how many of those are utilized on an average basis?
Okay, we have 55 beds. We're funded for 55 beds. They're all adult beds. So generally the people that are, the people that we admit are 18 years of age and older. Our census on the average is about between 50 and 52 beds daily. We stay pretty full because on any given day we can get anywhere from 2 to 13 admissions per day.
And what's the average on your acute, the average length of stay for those?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes. So they stay for about 2 weeks.
On the 110 beds in your MR side, you have 77 that are occupied. Is there need for more?
There is a need for more, but only 77 are funded at this
Are funded.
time.
But there's other folks that need the service that are not getting it, right?
Yes. We are certified for up to 110.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to acknowledge Ms.
So moved.
Keeble's report?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Benavides. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Consent and travel items. Are there any items any member of the court wish to take out and discuss separately under the either consent or travel?
Judge and Commissioners, on number 4, I would need some discussion, please.
Okay.
Number 9, I know there's someone here, maybe...
You want to take it out?
I'd like to take it out of
All right.
the agenda and get a little overview.
Item 9. Anything else?
I'd like to take number 3 out for an overview.
Don't you want both 8 and 9?
You want to take number 3 out?
Yeah, I just want to talk about it a minute.
Any other items? All right, do I hear a motion to approve the consent items and the travel items with the exception of item 3, 4, 9?
Judge and Commissioners, on travel item J, we don't approve that one because they will not be going to Galveston after all.
So we don't approve J?
Right.
All right.
Thanks.
Anything else? Okay, do I hear a motion with the items previously mentioned, and we're not going to vote on item J?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Commissioner Gatsa, second by Commissioner Tamayo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Benavides, second by Commissioner Gatsa, to discuss two items. Item A, confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning Cameron County versus BFI Waste Collection and others, cause number 2005-07-3905A, BFI Waste Services of Texas LP and Waste Management of Texas Inc. versus County of Cameron of the 13th Court of Appeals, Corpus Christi, Texas, cause number 13-06-623-CV, and BFI Waste Services of Texas LP versus County of Cameron and Red River Service Corporation of Texas, Inc., case number B-05-279, for discussion on status of case, mediation, and possible settlement pursuant to Code Section 551.0711A and B. Item B, confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning Patricio Zamora versus Lawrence W. Bowden, number 07-CV-0737 in the 10th District Court of Galveston County, and Abraham Flores versus Lawrence W. Bowden, number 07-CV-0736 in the 122nd District Court of Galveston County, for discussion pursuant to Code Section 551.0711A and 2. In favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item A, confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning Cameron County versus BFI Waste Collection and others. Do I hear a motion to acknowledge a report of counsel?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Gatsa. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Please
Notice
note
my abstention.
Commissioner Tamayo's abstention, and she did not participate in the deliberations. Item B, confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning Patricio Zamora versus Lawrence W. Bowden and others. Do I hear a motion to acknowledge report of counsel?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Commissioner Gatsa, second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Budget amendments, line item transfers, and/or salary schedules. Oh, you want to go back? All right, I forgot. You're right. You're right. All right. Item 3, consideration action to allow the display of Cameron Park Summer Program artwork in the Dancy Building Rotunda for a 4-week period beginning September 6, 2007. Commissioner Wood?
I asked that we talk about this in particular because this is a result of part of the summer program that was conducted at Cameron Park in Centro Cultural. We're very fortunate to have a lot of people participating with the youth of the community in different areas, and one of them this year was an art program where Ms. Yolanda Begum came out and instructed the students in the proper methods of doing what I can't do, doing paintings and drawings and things like that. In addition to just the methods of doing it, she also helped them to understand the background of the artists and where they came from and what their life was like. And it was an extremely good program, and they produced some really nice artwork, and I felt like it would be a good opportunity to be able to display their artwork in the rotunda so that the public would have an opportunity to come by and view it.
And that starts when?
The 6th, we'll try to get it over
On
here.
Wednesday?
We'll try to get it over here for Thursday.
Thursday. All right.
Set up.
Is that a motion?
Okay, I hear a motion by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Gatsa. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Commissioner Wood, thank you very much for your participation in that. Item 4, consideration approval of commercial services agreement between Cameron County Clerk's Office and Time Warner Cable for the purpose of our new e-filing system and our online record system.
Judge and Commissioners, Time Warner sent their basic contract. We agreed on the type of service that we want. Legal has a slight problem with some of the wording, and they're sending it back so that they can figure out or work out the differences. What I'd like for you to do is to approve it subject to legal.
Any problems with that? Okay. I hear a motion by Commissioner Wood. Do I have a second by Commissioner Gatsa? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item
Thank you.
carries. Thank you, Joe. Item number 9, consideration and authorization to execute a license agreement between Cameron County Parks and Recreation and Constance Schumann, producer for Film Academy of Vienna, to conduct filming at Beach Access Number 6.
Mr. Goodman's here.
Yes, my name is Peter Goodman. I'm the film commissioner for the city of Brownsville, and as you've already approved, Northern Entertainment Productions, I'm pleased to tell you we have 2 productions, one national TV and one foreign film being made in Cameron County, both at the same time, which is wonderful for us. And I believe Commissioner Garza may have had some questions, or the commission of Constance Schumann, the producer, is exactly what they're doing and why they're here.
All right.
I didn't have any, you answered my questions when I was visiting with you, but I would like for you just to tell us what you're doing here and what you plan to do with the work you're going to complete soon.
Okay, what exactly we are doing here in Brownsville is we are doing a movie here. It's the last movie we had to do for graduating from film school in Austria, and it's a 110 minutes feature film. The movie is about 5 high school kids in their senior year, and when you have this age, you have a lot of dreams, a lot of goals, and that's what the movie is basically about, because all of these kids have very different backgrounds, different dreams, and we want to show that. And the reason why we are filming in Brownsville, that's the first question everybody asks us. We are from Austria, why we are here in Brownsville. The director used to be an exchange student many years ago in Humana High School, and he always wanted to come back making a movie here in Brownsville. And we came here last December the first time to see if it's possible, and then we went back and applied for a lot of funds to make this happen here. And for me, I mean, it's very amazing to be here, because everything here is very different to my country, and I think Brownsville is very special when you compare it to the rest of the United States, because you have so many different cultures, so many different influences here. And what was so amazing for me, this movie would have never been possible to do in Austria. We got so many help from so many sides, from the Film Commission. We already had 87 different locations here in Brownsville, more than 260 people participating as extras, actors. That's just amazing for us.
Well, next time they ask you why Brownsville, you just repeat, why not?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city, and we're very proud to have you, and we're very proud of our city. So thank you very much for selecting Brownsville.
Thank
okay?
you.
South Padre Island. And South Padre Island.
Thank you. We're glad they're here.
Okay, Peter. Have you anything else?
Judge, if we can just make a couple of changes to the agreement. One is going to be September 7th instead of the 9th, and it's going to be at the Beach Access 6 instead of Isla Blanca Park.
All right, incorporate those changes. Do I hear a motion then to approve? Moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Benavides. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay well. Item 18, budget amendments, line item transfers, and/or salary schedules.
No, actually, Judge and Commissioners, I passed some out. There were some last-minute submissions. They should be in front of you. There was 2 pages. Yes, there was 2 pages on the line item transfers, and then some salary schedules for the drug forfeiture fund from the DA's office. The line item transfers are within the individual departments, just covering some expenditures and setting up some funding within the forfeiture fund for the sheriff's office. If you have any specific questions to those items, I can address those.
Any questions from a member of the court? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the budget amendments, line item transfers, and/or salary schedules? That was moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 19, approval of minutes for July the 24th, 2007, and July 31st, 2007. Do I hear a motion to approve, or does the court need more time? Moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Wood. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 20, approval of county claims. Anybody have any questions on the claims?
Move to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Gatsa, do I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Wood. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 21, discussion and possible action regarding the fiscal year 2007-2008 budget.
Judge and Commissioners, I also left some packets in front of you. One is similar to the spreadsheets or the worksheets that I had been passing out for the previous weeks, and the other one is in relation to the health insurance.
Let me interrupt one second.
Should be that one up there.
Okay, yeah.
Last week, in discussions in reference to the health insurance fund and the funding levels that would be required for this upcoming fiscal year based on the numbers that I presented to you last week, I had emailed you some information, or the court some information in reference to the rates. The rates, as far as the individual employees, in calculating what that would generate based on this spreadsheet, it has the breakdown on the employees, the dependents, the number of employees who have dependents, and what those funding is there. It would be on the page behind where it has the health insurance fund.
This one?
Yes, yeah, the page right behind that. That has the information that I had emailed to the court on Friday. It's the same breakdown, and based on this, what our current rates are, and then what based on the increase of the rates to $5,200 per employee per year, what that translates into the increase for each individual category, how much that generates in extra funds going to the health insurance fund, then also the number of participants under COBRA as of August 1st, and the breakdowns under that as far as dependents, and also the retirees, and the same information as far as the number of retirees and their dependents and what they're currently paying, and then also the proposed rates. The only one that I wasn't too sure on, and what I have here was as far as the COBRA, the individuals on COBRA. Excuse me, what's listed there is the increasing it to the current rate or to the proposed rate for what the county pays per individual, and also doubling that for spouse, and the same as if it's just the former employee and the child. And then after that, I really wasn't sure where to cap it off, so I just have listed here, as going by 3, which would be the $1,300. I'm not sure, the court's thoughts on that. The amounts shown here, if you look on the left-hand side where it has the current rates, that, of course, that's assuming that they're on for the full year of our fiscal year. And as an example, there, for those 19 individuals, it should generate almost $80,000, $79,302. What's actually going to be credited for this year is $37,500, and that's, of course, because some of these people are only on COBRA for a short period of time until they get insurance somewhere else, or they just drop. So the amount of increase, projected for the next fiscal year is at that 100%, but it would be less than that because, of course, individuals would only be there for a short period of time until other employment, or they get insurance somewhere else. But on that one, I'm not sure on the rates that the court would entertain to increasing it to. On the retirees, what's listed there.
Let's go back to the COBRA first.
Okay.
The COBRA, all you're doing is just passing on our cost.
Correct.
To them, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's what you were doing with the current rates. You're just passing on our cost. Were we subsidizing anything for COBRA?
Yes, because currently we are contributing $400 a month per individual, and on COBRA it was $272 a month.
Okay, so you're just bringing
them in line with
bringing in line,
okay,
okay,
per individual.
All right.
Cost.
With our cost, right? Okay.
Excuse me. On the retirees, what's reflected here is a $75 increase for the employee, and then below that, it would be the $75 increase for the employee, and then a $75 increase for the dependent. So on the far right-hand column, it shows you the actual monthly increase for each one of those categories. Of course, it's up to the court as to whether they are comfortable with the 75, or they want to do more than that or less than that, but that's what I have projected there. And the actual increase that would be going into.
And we're still subsidizing a significant amount.
Correct.
With the retirees, right?
Correct, because even at that, of increasing it for the individual to $250, we would be paying the $433 per employee. So on that, based on these numbers, I actually on the first page, it shows you the revenues, the budgeted revenues, which would be at the $5,200 per employee, and the current projected expenditures for the health insurance fund based on the information that we received from the consultant, of course, the administrative fees, and the projected savings based on the discounts. Excuse me. Based on that, there is a surplus of $119,000 going into the health insurance fund, which we actually need because of the fund balance of where it is and where it tends to be. Of course, these are projected expenditures. It could be higher depending on claims, and it could be lower for the same reason. And how I came about with the revenues was because of the action or the item that I forget the exact number, but in reference to the court gave direction to transfer the full amount of funds budgeted for health insurance, transfer that to the health insurance fund. I took the 100% of what it would be budgeted for next fiscal year for the general fund, road and bridge, the park system, and the bridge system, as far as amounts being transferred to the health insurance fund at 100%. In discussion with the auditor's office in reference to some of the grants, because that was one of the questions from last week. On the grants, they can only transfer the funds for filled positions. So I took the amount that would be remaining from that and budgeted that at a 95%, estimating, a 5% vacancy rate across all the funds. And on the employee amount for their dependents, also because that may or not be at 100% through the whole fiscal year, I took that at 95% of those rates, which came out to the projected revenues that are listed there. So what we would need on in reference to the health insurance rates would be if the court would be in agreement with this, or if they wanted to change any of this, so that way it can be reflected in the budget for next fiscal year, especially in reference to the COBRA and to the retirees. Back to, I guess, the other packet, which has two sheets, which are similar from the past week.
Do we need to come up with a resolution on that today?
I would need, final direction on that. Because the grants and everyone in their budgets needs to have that finalized.
The COBRA and retiree.
Correct.
I support, I think it's a good idea.
As presented?
As presented.
As presented.
That's fine.
So you want a resolution from us now on this?
Within this item discussion or action item, yes.
Right.
Not necessarily at this particular moment, but yes.
Okay.
So back to the other packet, as far as the budget, there's the similar items. We are currently, over the past week, in working with Mr. Zapula and Mr. Allman from the auditor's office, what you have before you is the total projected revenues and expenditures. The expenditures do include, at this point, are including the health insurance rates at the $5,200, the available And then all the items that are listed here, which have been in discussion over the past several weeks, which is, of course, for the $1,000 for WIC to cover their increased costs for the across-the-board increase, the maintenance projects, the county clerks, and the tax office positions, the constables, JPs, juvenile probation, and another one listed here for administrative services, which Mr. Sepulveda will touch on in a little bit. After all that, the first sheet shows a surplus of $25,410. And the road and bridge shows $263,176. This first sheet is with the penny rate reduction to the total tax rate. Of the pennies coming out of the general fund, but the total rate is dropping by 1 cent. The second page still has the penny rate reduction in the general fund, but it is placing back or increasing the road and bridge tax rate by half a cent. And what is reflected there is a surplus of just over $891,000, which could be utilized for road materials or whatever items the court may choose. Excuse me. So I would need final direction from the court. I have all these items listed here because it was kind of a consensus, I believe, that the court wished to fund these particular positions and the projects, and if I would need final direction to include them in the budget for these particular items as presented.
Let's just clarify a little bit that the general fund tax rate will go down by a penny.
Correct.
But the road and bridge will be increased by half a penny.
If the court directs me, yes, those are the two.
Scenario, the second page.
Two options presented, yes.
Correct. Which will transfer a little over $600,000 more to road and bridge.
Correct.
Which can be used for our county road infrastructure, basically. We run out of money in the road and bridge system, 7-8 months into the year, right?
Correct.
7 months, it's like our indigent healthcare program. Run out of money, this enables us to continue some of the projects that need to be finished in the rural areas. So the net effect to the taxpayer is a half a penny decrease in the overall tax rate.
Correct.
Using scenario number 2. Scenario number 1 does everything except it reduces the tax rate by 1 penny, and there's no increase to the road and bridge fund.
Correct.
By half a penny. So to the taxpayer, it's a 1 penny decrease. So the decision that we need to make today, or at least let Javier know so he can follow through with this stuff, is do y'all want to support a penny decrease to the overall tax rate and leave it alone, or do we want to do a penny decrease to the general fund with a half a penny increase to the road and bridge fund? The general fund remains untouched. Basically,
correct.
We're balanced, everything is fine, we still have a little bit of surplus which can go into the fund balance. But that half a penny transfer to road and bridge enables you all to get another $600 and some odd thousand more into the road and bridge system to do these improvements that you need, that you gotta have.
I think it's necessary.
I think I would support and will support a half penny decrease to the general fund.
No, a 1 penny. And then
half a penny with the transfer of to the road and bridge fund.
No, the net effect is that.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, the net effect is that, to simplify things.
Well, the need is tremendous all over the county, and I think the taxpayers will see their money at work.
The half a penny reduction of the tax rate helps everybody. Everybody,
Yes.
that just helps, and we can't control the appraised values, but, we can do our part as a county entity to reduce taxes a little bit. It may not be a whole lot to a lot of people, but, $10 a month is $10 a month, or $15, but you also have to factor in that when you talk about the $10 or $15 per household, we cannot forget the entrepreneurs, we cannot forget businesses, we cannot forget those people that create jobs for this county, your malls, your strip centers, your businesses. They're going to be able to see the fruits of this tax decrease as well. So I as well agree with, with that. You're reducing it net half a penny to the, I don't know what y'all's thoughts are, what y'all like to do.
Well, I think adding the half penny to the road and bridge provides an improvement for everyone in the county also, and that's desperately needed. I know it is in all the precincts. We don't have enough money to get everything taken care of that needs to be done. We've still got lots of work to do.
Commissioner?
I'll support it, Judge. I think overall, we should all do a lot better in our precincts as far as our road work is concerned.
And the public needs to know as well, Laura, that we're not increasing any of their fees, we're not increasing bridge tolls, we're going to stay with the same bridge tolls, same fees, and still do this. So this is no.
I think Pete has something to say.
We're not looking to decrease bridge tolls, but we are looking to do something with the axles on the truck.
Yeah, the commercial tolls will go down.
Okay. But not your vehicles and your...
No, not the passenger vehicle.
Okay. You want to explain a little bit, Pete?
Yeah.
Pete is real happy with this budget so far.
I'm happy with it.
Me too.
David is sending out a memo to Commissioners Court with additional recommendations to Commissioners Court. And the first one is to consolidate 3 departments into one department, those being the computer center, the building maintenance, and the copy center departments. And I would recommend to the court that our safety coordinator right now be appointed to head that department, and to also assume the duties of the safety officer for the Parks Department. The funding for that would be from Road and Bridge, Parks, and Building Maintenance funds, and that can be done within the existing budget. As you all recall, I believe it was in March or April.
Pete, where is the safety coordinator salary now being funded from? General fund?
Road and Bridge.
Road and Bridge totally?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's from the same fund?
Yes, in addition to that,
shared,
right.
Shared with
the other, with building.
We'll split it up. You all recall the Texas Association of Counties came and did an assessment of our computer department. And so there are some recommendations that we would like to implement. One is to create a position for a computer center supervisor. And in addition to that, we would like to adjust some of the salaries for some of the employees within the computer center. And that will also be done within the budget that the computer center has right now. What we're doing is taking the existing position for computer center director, creating a position for computer center supervisor, and then adjusting some of the salaries. And so we won't go beyond what is budgeted already in that department. Also, I would like to be able to adjust the salary for a computer technician at the bridge system. For the last several years, we've utilized his services and expertise in departments outside the bridge system, and I think that, we need to adjust that salary accordingly. Additionally, when I assumed the position of the county administrator back in January, 2 employees who were relocated to assist with some of the additional duties and responsibilities that the Office of the County Administrator was going to undertake. And so I'm also proposing a salary adjustment for those 2 employees.
Pete, on the 2 employees, they still continue to provide the services they were providing prior to
That's correct, yes.
Right? So
yes.
what you've added basically is all the new stuff that they're doing now.
Exactly.
They're still doing all they were doing
yes.
prior to 12/31.
Yes.
In other words, when you became county administrator, you didn't add anyone to your staff. You just passed on more duties to
That's
them.
correct, yes.
And those are within the existing budget?
Yes. Then I would also like to, if you all recall, a couple of years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, we looked at salaries for our road crewmen and our equipment operators and assistant foremen, but we didn't do any adjustments on the foreman position. So I'd like to recommend to the court to adjust the salaries for the construction foreman. And then additionally, in the Brownsville area, there's two slots that I would like to change titles so that we can be consistent countywide with having construction foreman and maintenance foreman. And that could also be done within the budget that has been presented. And then there's one other employee within the Road and Bridge Fund, and that is the clerk in the right-of-way department, and I'd also like to be able to adjust that salary accordingly. Also in the building permits department, we've got 3 positions for building inspectors. One position pays $24,000 and the other 2 positions pay $25,000. That position that pays $24,000, we've had an opening there probably for about a year and a half because, we're not able to attract the individual that has the proper licenses, proper certifications because of the salary range that we offer. So I would like to be able to bump that salary up so that we can make it a little bit more attractive. And in addition to that, also taking into consideration the salary adjustment for our head building inspector and our assistant building inspector. Then finally, at the bridge system, I would like to increase the security guards and the custodians, or to give a salary adjustment of additional $500. And our custodians at the bridge system we utilize to help out at the airport, at other county facilities, probably 5 or 6 other county facilities. And I think this will probably not adjust the salary to the level that they should be, but I think this is a step that we need to undertake. And again, that would be done within the existing budget for the bridge system.
Pete, the 1,500 does not include the 1,000 that we've already agreed?
It does. So in addition, it's $500.
So it's really 500?
Yes.
Let me ask you, how does the compensation for these security guards compare to the courthouse security guards that we have around our premises?
They're within our budget.
Oh, they're also within your budget?
Yeah, they're at the Gateway Bridge.
Road over here from over there.
All right.
They're part of the gateway system, or the bridge system.
And then the last thing, Judge, as you mentioned, we did take a look at seeing how we could reduce the commercial rates for our commercial vehicles. And what we came up with is about a 50-cent less per truck. If we go from a 2-vehicle, we would be able to reduce the rate a quarter. 3-axle vehicle, 17 cents, then a 4-axle, 13 cents, 5-axle vehicle, 10 cents, and then a 6-axle vehicle, the same thing. And by doing that, it's a 50 cents per truck reduction. I know it's not where we probably want to be at, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Depending on our revenues throughout the year, we can come back and visit this issue, or we can take another step next fiscal year and get to a point where we can be a little bit more competitive with some of the other bridges. And again, this could be factored into the budget.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, I just have a comment on your restructuring, where you'll have your director and building maintenance will be under him, and the computer center, and I don't know this gentleman, but I'm sure that the reason for that is he's got the administrative expertise, and
yes.
So you're refining actually your system.
Yeah, I think I've met with the individual several times, talked to some of the division heads where he has provided training or safety training, and everybody I talked to spoken very well. I looked at his past experience, his past management experience, and I feel confident that he can come in and undertake the duties of those 3 departments. And I'm hoping that it can work out so that in the future, maybe 3-6 months from now, we can add additional responsibilities, add additional departments into that one department. and continue the consolidation that we've started some time back.
Pete, I have a question. As part of his duties, he would also assume the duties of safety officer for the Parks Department.
That's correct.
Does that mean that that's the only safety duty that he's going to continue to have?
No,
or he'll
he's
continue
gonna,
with?
yes, he will continue with the duties he has right now as safety officer.
Okay.
And,
This is in addition
yes.
to.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Is there not an additional safety officer downstairs with the human resources?
Yeah, within the
Will he be
human-
under him?
Human Resources has a law enforcement safety officer. And I believe, Robert is here, he might be able to expand this, but I believe their duties are separated. I don't know that Robert does any law enforcement safety training right now. I think he does help Javier Mendez with the park rangers. But this is what I was talking about in answering the question to Commissioner Tamayo, in that, hopefully 3 months from now, 6 months from now, we can consolidate other departments, consolidate other duties, and he can assume other duties. And so we hopefully will see a savings, 3 months, 6 months down the line, if we get to the point where we're able to do that and accomplish that.
I don't have any other questions as far as your recommendation, Pete. I do have a question, though, for the court. I know that when Mr. Sepulveda and Mr. Garcia took over as the county administrator, Judge, I think I was in your office, and I asked how are we going to compensate them for taking on the duties that they had taken on? And I think you suggested that we'd probably be looking at it at such a time. What are we going to do?
Well, they haven't asked, and I'm not going to volunteer anything.
I think what he's doing is motivating his staff to where he won't have to be overlooking so many things, which is showing very good leadership, Pete. You're taking care of your people before you try and take care of yourself. But I agree with you.
And that's
Sophie.
great. I mean, I think he's done a good job, but I think it's time that we look at compensating Pete and David at this point. I don't know if it's something that we can take up at the next meeting or what, but just because he hasn't asked doesn't mean that he's not.
I think it's probably too humble to be asking us, but I think that's something we need to initiate and look at, compensating both he and the deputy appropriately for the jobs they've been doing and the jobs we expect them to do in the future. And
I think you're so happy that
I know
they're
the
close
answer,
to
they're
balancing the
phone
budget.
24/7.
You don't want to throw it off.
And emails come in at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you, Pete, why don't you put an item on the agenda next week to kind of do an evaluation, basically for you and for David? It won't take very long, and then from there we can discuss it.
We can do the evaluation
on a formal
executive
basis.
session.
Along with what they make and stuff like that.
Yeah, give us your history and, what else you'd like to be doing. But working here is a premium, so take that into consideration, all right?
Real benefit here.
That's a very good point. All right.
He's here because he wants to.
That's right.
Kind of like the Vienna film, but I have one question, Javier, not of you. When we were looking at the second page of your first handout.
Okay.
For some reason, I have the number 1.016 engraved in my mind.
1.01.
On the, where it has the 891, on the...
Oh, on the tax rate?
On the very bottom of the Road and Bridge Fund.
Instead of the 891?
Instead of the 891,
Right.
I have 1.016, like 1 million.
Yeah, there was.
What happened to that?
Well, the part of that went to the health insurance increase, bumping it up to the $5,200, because originally we were still at 48.
So that's where most of it went.
Part of it, and then there was an additional contract obligation that wasn't originally there for $40,000 for the stormwater plan. It's
Okay.
also included in there now.
So that's where, because I had that number pretty well engraved in my mind.
Yeah, it was
1 point.
You had it spent already.
Yes.
All right, Javier, what do you need from us today?
Well, I guess final direction on the court as to include these listed items here, which would be these positions, well, so positions basically, and of course the maintenance projects, and then also on the health insurance rate, to increase them either to the recommended numbers or not.
Okay, well, let me hear, okay, at least I can put this in the form of a motion. Let me have a motion to either to approve or not approve Mr. Villarreal's recommendation regarding the new rates for the health insurance, including employees, COBRA, and retirees. Let me do that motion first, and then we'll go to the next one. Can we do it like that? So I hear a motion.
What item are we on?
We're on item
that's not-
21. He just needs some direction.
So we're going to take,
Yeah, the final adoption.
We're going to
of the budget will
approve
be
the
next week,
insurance,
but I
and then
need-
we'll go to
and then we have
the
to go to
budget.
the other.
Yeah.
Have to have it ready.
So
Okay,
moved.
second.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Gatsa, second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Thank
Now
you.
we're going to the-
The second part of that item will be to approve or not approve the
recommendation.
budget synopsis that Mr. Villarreal has put together. Let's just call it page 1, which is the first page that indicates the 1 penny decrease with no shift to the road and bridge, or scenario number 2, which is the 1 penny decrease in general fund, but 1/2 increase to the road and bridge, a net of 1/2 penny decrease. So I'd like to entertain a motion on either one.
Move to
Motion.
approve page 2.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the second scenario, which is reducing the tax rate by a net of 1/2 penny.
Yes.
And a second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That makes it easy for you now, right?
What about the-
Do we need to look at Mr. Sepulveda's recommendations at this point?
Oh, yeah.
We haven't
Do we
approved
need
them.
to,
You know, and that's, well, he said, really, he said that they were all included within the budget.
Within everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
So by
You
approving,
find the changes, and then in the final version, for next week, they'll be included in there. If
But
the
they're
court
already
is approving
included
that, I guess,
in the budget that we talked about.
dollar-wise.
It's already, okay,
Right.
they're neutral.
So
Yes.
they're already in there.
Sort of
I
like
guess
in-house.
officially, do we need to,
Acknowledge.
Yeah, we're changing.
I guess,
Well, I
acknowledge
think
these
we should.
additions to the budget? You want to do that?
And position changes.
The position, okay, let me hear a motion to approve the memorandum that Mr. Sepulveda submitted as he described.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. And Pete, put your evaluations, I guess, on for the next meeting, okay? All right.
do you have an evaluation instrument?
Yes, we do.
I'm sure it's already made out and everything, ready to go. All right, item 22, discussion and possible action on the performance of autopsies for Cameron County.
Judge and Commissioners, Commissioner Garza, myself, and David Gonzalez from the District Attorney's Office had a conference call with Dr. Farley last week. Dr. Farley has been able to get a forensic pathologist to come work
I think
with her.
Mr. Gonzalez is here. Would you like to come up, David?
As you all recall, we have an existing contract with Dr. Farley, and she submitted terms and conditions for Dr. Kohlmeyer to come work with her and for Cameron County. She sent us Dr. Kohlmeyer's CV. She's very well recommended by Dr. DeMaio from Bexar County. And talking to our legal department, they felt that there wasn't a need to amend or to do a new agreement with Dr. Farley since the terms and conditions were within the existing contract that we had with Dr. Farley. David is here, you know, he can speak on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, but I think they're in concurrence with our recommendation.
Good evening, County Judge, Commissioners. We are in concurrence. We did review the CV. We've been very happy with Dr. Farley in the past, and Dr. Kohlmeyer, is that how it's pronounced? Dr. Kohlmeyer had an excellent resume, excellent references, and I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. We'd be very happy to work with both doctors.
And I think it would be good to note that we have spoken tentatively with Valley Baptist because the work will be done in the meantime at Ceballos Funeral Home, where Dr. Farley works at now in McAllen. Valley Baptist is more than willing to help set up and improve the department. All they're waiting for is for Dr. Kohlmeyer to come in and do a walkthrough and evaluate with them, and they're ready to help with renovating the morgue to standards that you would want there.
All right.
Thank you.
So I just placed the item just to provide a briefing to Commissioners Court. I don't think there's any action that needs to be taken.
And I think one comment that I would like to make to the judge and commissioners is that there seems to be some publicity that we've received that the county has not had a medical examiner. The county has always had a medical examiner on board. We've not been without a medical examiner. Now we have contracted service with Dr. Farley, who is a forensic.
Yeah, we don't have a medical examiner, we have a pathologist. We've always had a pathologist that's been available.
I'm sorry,
and-
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And I think that's where the confusion comes in. We
Right.
we haven't used the statute to actually hire a medical examiner, but we've always had a pathologist on standby, and we continue to have one.
Right, and this is a forensic pathologist.
Forensic pathologist,
That we're looking
which,
at
which is what's
board
what's-
certified.
Exactly.
You know. And I think that we also visited briefly in regards to the medical examiner's position and moving in that direction as time permits and as money permits, because it will be an expense. But this would be the vehicle that we were looking for to help us move in that direction.
Now, Pete, and discussions will continue as to, because I know we had some meetings with the JPs and so on, and some of those details, I guess, are going to be, once Dr. Farley meets with the hospital and
Yes.
so on, all that will be
Yeah, I think that
addressed.
we need to make sure, Commissioner Tamayo, that we put an email out tomorrow morning
Exactly.
to the JPs and the offices, the sheriff and the DA's office, and making sure that they understand the changeover, because in the consent agenda, we do have a termination notice that will be issued to Dr. Salinas, who is our pathologist now that's doing some of the work.
We'll put out an email, a memorandum in the morning.
Yeah. We need to keep them informed, just so that they'll know what's going on.
But they all were very comfortable with Dr. Farley, so it should be a welcome news for them.
Yeah, that was their preference, at least the JPs I met with.
All right, well, this is just an acknowledgement. We're not going to do anything today, right? I mean, on that issue.
Yeah,
On
we
that
don't,
issue.
right. we
Well,
don't
it's just
need
for
it.
possible action, so the
Yeah,
action is
no action,
acknowledgement.
yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to acknowledge Mr. Sepulveda's report?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 23, discussion status of acquisition of right-of-way for the FM 106 road expansion project.
Judge, Commissioners, you should have a status report in your packet. There's 38 parcels that needed to be acquired for the FM 106 project. Parcel number 1 was acquired through the subdivision process. Parcel 2, 3, and 4 are the title company for recording, but we have obtained a right of entry for construction, which means that the property owner has given us authority and TXDOT to go in and undertake any improvements that are necessary for the project. Parcel 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9 have been acquired, and they're the title company. Actually, parcel 5 through 8 have already been recorded, and parcel 9 is at the title company for closing. Parcels 10 and 11, we're meeting with the property owner tomorrow morning and hopefully obtain a right of entry for those 2 parcels. Parcel 12 has been acquired, and it's a title company for closing. Parcel 13 and 14, again, they're the title company, but we do have the rights of entry to be able to go into their property. Parcels 15 and 16 is with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. TXDOT is handling those 2 parcels. Parcel 17 has been acquired and has been recorded. Parcel 18, it's at the title company, as well as 19 and 20, and we have rights of entry for those 3 parcels. As per TXDOT, parcel 21 is not needed. Parcels 22 through 25 are the title company, but we do have rights of entry for all those parcels. 26, it's been recorded. Parcel 27 and 35, I have been in contact with the Department of Homeland Security in Washington. We were having pretty good communication, and then a couple of weeks ago, we lost that communication. So I've asked staff from Congressman Ortiz's office to assist us in trying to get at least a right of entry so that we won't delay the project. Parcels 28, 29, they were acquired through the subdivision process. Parcel 30 and 31, we're getting property owners to sign the deed and release of liens, but we do have rights of entry, so we can move forward. Parcel 32, Fish and Wildlife, is being handled by TxDOT. Parcel 33, 34, and 38, we have sent the information to their attorney, and hopefully we can get a right of entry to move forward. Parcel 36, it's a new owner, we're pending an appraisal. Parcel 37, that belongs to Union Pacific. I've had contact with Union Pacific, and hopefully we'll be able to get a right of entry in the near future. So we really don't have a lot to go. We've got about 5 or 6 parcels where we need rights of entry to be able to move forward. Once we get those, and once TxDOT has a draft license agreement that Fish and Wildlife requires, and I believe the original office in Albuquerque for Fish and Wildlife is reviewing that agreement. So from the county standpoint, we're hoping that in the next 30, 45 days, we can at least get rights of entries from those parcels that we need. Once we do that, then TxDOT is pretty much able to let the project. We do have a gas line relocation as part of this project, and I believe that's the next agenda item. But if you all have any questions on this item, I can entertain them now.
At the last MPO meeting, when this item came up, Pete, we asked them when the earliest letting would be, and they mentioned February of 2009. But it's subject to change, right?
Yes, I think as long as the right-of-way is in place or rights of entry are in place, then TxDOT can always
move it forward.
Yes. Okay. And that's what we're wanting to do is get the rights of entry in place so that TxDOT can get into a position where they can let the project.
Because we need to move this project forward. I know that we both get calls
constantly.
Yes, and that's why, and I'll discuss that in the next agenda item, but that's one of the reasons why we're proposing the interlocal, or the memorandum of understanding with the gas company.
Move to acknowledge number 23.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Gatsa to acknowledge Mr. Sepulveda's report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 24, consideration approval of agreement between Cameron County and Texas Gas Service for the acquisition of easements for the relocation of a gas line for the FM 106 road expansion project.
We had passed out an agreement, a memorandum of agreement that you all should have.
Legal checked it?
Yes, and then we have an exhibit. What this is there's a gas line that needs to be relocated. There are 8 easements that need to be acquired. If the gas company were to undertake the acquisition of the easements, and hire a consultant, it would probably take about a year or so to do that. So what we were able to work out is if the county can go in and acquire those 8 parcels or those 8 easements that are needed for the relocation, the gas company is willing to pay the county for the title commitments, which we estimate at about $4,400, the appraisals, which we estimate at about $12,800, the review appraisals, estimated at $3,200, surveying that would be required, which we estimate at $10,000, then any time spent by myself or right-of-way staff or attorneys for the actual acquisition of those 8 easements, they would pay us $28,875. Then the actual acquisition cost that we're estimating is about $23,100. although that is subject to change because, we would get reimbursed for the actual, appraised value of the easement. So that total that the gas company is willing to pay the county is $82,375. Now, we had entered, the county had entered into an advance funding agreement with TxDOT. Part of that agreement is that any utility relocation is the responsibility of the county to pay that cost up front, and then the county is reimbursed a certain percentage by TxDOT. In this case, we get reimbursed 59% of the actual cost. So we are estimating that the construction cost, which includes about a 17% contingency, to be $133,000. And again, that's an estimate that we have. The county would have to pay this up front and then get reimbursed 59% from TxDOT. Again, the county can come in and acquire those easements, a lot quicker than the gas company can do. This, according to TxDOT, is actually, will be a pilot project. I don't think this has ever been done in the state of Texas in any TxDOT project where a municipality or a county acquires right-of-way on behalf of a utility company. But if we are successful, and TxDOT is looking at the project schedule, if we can come in and acquire the easements in a 90-day period, as opposed to the gas company that would take a year, we're saving 9 months, and that's 9 months that we can shave off the project schedule. So hopefully, we can be successful in this one, because I know that on FM 732, we have some major relocations that we also have to undertake. So, and again, the county will be compensated, for our surveying and for our time that our staff will spend in the acquisition. Good. And he has legal drafted this MOU.
All right, do I hear a motion
So
to approve the agreement by
Second.
Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Gatsa? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 25, discussion regarding the license agreements between Cameron County and Mike Hernandez Events and Cameron County and Doug Bond, Camel Corporation of Texas for HEB Crunch Tour promotion.
Judge, Commissioner, I'll just place this item just to advise the court. The fee that was calculated by the park staff on both of these license agreements is $65, and that is the fee that was charged to Hernandez Events and to Mr. Doug Bond based on the license agreement that was approved by Commissioner's Court.
All right, any question, member of the court?
And that's a follow-up to our
Yes.
discussion last meeting.
Right.
All right.
Move to acknowledge discussion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatsa, second by Commissioner Wood to acknowledge the discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 26, consideration action to approve election systems and software company ES&S as a sole source for certain components, products, and services related to the ES&S optical scan election system purchased in 2005 to comply with the Help America Vote Act for use in all Cameron County conducted elections. Roger?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Judge, County Commissioners. This item was placed on here because we do have to make some purchases this election season for some, mostly for programming and services from ES&S, which is the company that we bought our election system from. And these services, site support and so forth, are only available through this company. And we've done this for several years before, but it is recommended that we bring this before Commissioner's Court so we can get this sole source item identified.
Is there a dollar amount anywhere?
No, because the dollar amount, we don't know the exact cost
Or a
yet of
maximum
what
dollar amount?
what what I do have, and I can submit that to the commissioners, is a list of services or programming costs per, let's say, 1,000 or for so many precincts and so forth that they charge us.
What was it at the last election?
Well, there's different services. For example, the site support that they charge us is $3,900 per election for a 2-day support. That's only one of them. The programming for the ballots cost us somewhere around, if I'm not mistaken, it was around $4,000. the ballots themselves.
Well, let me ask it to you a different way. How much do you have budgeted for this service? How much did you propose in your upcoming budget? Let me ask you that.
For ES&S alone?
Yes. Well, for this, what we're asking us to approve. Do you recall off the top of your head?
I can't because it does vary, from item to item, but.
Is it budgeted? Is it in the budget?
It's in the budget, yes, Commissioner, it's in the budget.
All right, well, that's all I want to know, make sure that.
Overrun.
Yes.
Yeah, that we're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a figure for you.
I don't recall too many times, okay?
All right, do I hear a motion to
I so
approve?
move.
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Item 27, consideration action to approve the early voting polling locations and Election Day polling locations for the November 6, 2007 general election constitutional amendments as per Chapter 43, Section 43.002, designation of location, general or special election using county precincts and setting the compensation for election judges and clerks for services rendered at a precinct polling place as per Chapter 32, election judges and clerks, Subchapter E, Section 32.091, compensation for services at polling place.
Judge, Commissioners, this was, earlier in the day, was presented to the Election Commission, and the recommendation is to approve polling locations with the pending two locations for early voting, which would be the Harlingen, our County Harlingen Annex location, and the San Benito location, which is the community center in San Benito. Cameron County Annex building will not be used for this election, and so we're looking at possibly the Harlingen City Hall, hopefully with the approval of the commissioners pretty soon. I will be contacting them tomorrow. I will also be contacting San Benito, Lupita Pasmet, and then the city manager to hopefully have an approval to use their city hall buildings for early voting. We were using San Benito Community Center. Now, we don't have a problem. We cannot use the San Benito City Hall. We'll go back to the community center. But we need to get approval from Commissioners Court pending those two locations that I will be contacting in the morning.
The Elections Commission, along with Roger, met earlier at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and we suggested the Harlingen City Hall in place of the Cameron County Annex building, because that's going to be vacant by the time this election comes around.
Furniture is being moved in this week.
No, I'm talking about the annex, the one, the old one.
I know, into
Okay.
the other one.
Yeah, and also the San Benito City Hall, just because it's on the main drag and it might be better suited for elections. So if we could ask your approval for this, subject to the okay of those. Now, what is going to be the plan? Well, we have a plan for San Benito. What about for Harlingen if they don't want us to do that?
When you say City Hall in San Benito, what do you mean?
The City Hall, where...
The new one?
The new
Like
one.
the post office?
Yes.
The new post
And
office building where they moved City Hall.
I know it's accessible, but it's a little bit tough to get into.
Why, because of the stairs or
Because
what?
of the stairs and the parking.
There's not enough
The
parking.
old City Hall was a whole lot more accessible.
Are they still using that one?
Yes.
I don't know that that's open.
Yeah, they have
Would be
offices
better.
there and...
Do you want to check, would y'all prefer
I will
the...
check.
Why don't
I
you,
would prefer that...
the old one?
There's better parking.
You want to check with that then?
I will.
The new one
Okay.
doesn't have
I will.
parking.
All right. Why don't you check with that one? How about the Harlingen City Hall? Is that one all right?
That would be fine. There's a big
Okay.
parking lot.
The recommendation for the Harlingen City Hall was to use
Yeah.
the first floor.
Okay, let me hear a motion to approve the polling locations, and then the Harlingen City Hall. Where was going to be your plan B in case they said don't?
We had it was suggested that the rec building be used, which is the health building. That is on,
Yeah, but that one's hard to find.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good one.
Yeah, one of the
And the-
election commissioners wanted that, but that's kind of...
and somebody else had suggested the use of a public library in the Harlingen area.
That would be a better location.
That's even hard to get to.
Well, then, let's go ahead.
What's wrong with the old building that we're going to vacate?
it's gonna be abandoned, basically, by that time comes around. I mean, you're gonna have
I
to...
feel very confident you'll get the Harlingen City Hall.
Yeah, but you're not gonna have any furniture, you're probably gonna shut off the electricity.
Are there gonna be utilities?
Yeah, probably, there's not gonna be anything there, and, I mean, I think it just wouldn't make it.
That's very accessible there,
Very accessible.
especially when it's empty.
Yeah,
No, but I don't think that'd be a good spot. If it's
yeah, I
gonna be
don't think
empty.
so either.
I really don't think you're gonna have,
Okay, well,
any problems with
if
Harlingen
you'd
City
like,
Hall.
Commissioners, we can approve this, all of them, and then you're gonna come back to us with a better semi-location, either the old City
The
Hall
old City Hall.
or the Community Center, and then Harlingen City Hall or the Public Library?
Yeah, I
If-
think.
and see what they
that's-
come back.
It's not difficult to find.
Okay.
Yeah, what
The
I would
other-
like
There's a
to
lot
do
of-
in using those, see, what we do in Harlingen, or what we were doing in the Harlingen Annex, is we would use that as a location where everybody would meet, and we would store all our voted ballots there, because we had, it could be locked up, and with security, we had security there because of the sheriff's office. What we would do now here is we would ask then, if we find a different location, let's say City Hall in Harlingen, that we use maybe the Levi building to store our ballots under lock and key there. And every day, people would drop them there, and instead of coming all the way to Brownsville. Okay?
Well, you can, work that out, make
And
sure.
we can work that out, but that would be the plan, and we use it.
And just make sure that whatever room you're gonna use in the Levi building, that the access or the keys are limited. Even if you have to change the locks for that election cycle, whatever you gotta do.
It's in the budget.
It's in the budget, right? Okay, the other issue was raising the hourly rate to the clerks to $7.50 an hour. The election commission recommended that as well, so.
It's 25 cents an hour for all election workers at polling
It's
locations.
not in the,
So with that, I can hear one general motion, unless y'all want to take them separately in terms of
No, I think we
location.
do them all together.
Okay, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gatsa,
With the caveat that we propose, okay?
second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, Roger.
thank you.
Item 28, discussion and possible action regarding the county, state, and federal legislative agenda.
Judge, Commissioners, really nothing to report other than the fact that we're getting down to the last couple months of the budget in Washington, and we'll be tracking some of the projects we've got and the appropriations requests that we've got, so we'll keep you guys abreast of that, and we'll also keep you informed of any possible trips that we may need to take.
All right. Do I hear a motion to acknowledge Mr. Garcia's report? Moved by Commissioner Tamayo. Second by Commissioner Gatsa. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 29, consideration possible action to declare October National Disability Employment Awareness Month to provide awareness and encouragement to hire persons with disabilities as part of the Governor's Committee on Disabilities campaign. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 30, consideration possible action to declare August 25th through September 9th, 2007, Hands Across El Rio, 1,050-mile, 16-day protest against the border wall. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tamayo. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Wood. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Last item, 31.
Judge, Commissioners,
Yes.
Bruce would like you to table this item, please.
Okay, do I hear a motion to table item 31?
Table.
Moved by Commissioner Wood. Do I have a second by Commissioner Gatsa? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Moved by Commissioner Benavides, second by Commissioner Tamayo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. God save this honorable court.